Good morning. You know, I've gotten into a new little habit in the mornings. While Grayson, what I do is when we get up, instead of taking Grayson out first thing, I go ahead and give him his breakfast. And while he's eating, I have an espresso, an espresso. In other words, a cup of espresso, which is, like 1.35 ounces, or a double one would be 2.7 ounces, and very intense, little bit, just a tiny bit sort of thick. I mean, it's not thick like syrup. It just has a thicker feel on the tongue than usual coffee does. And oh my goodness, it just, kind of perks me up, and it's real quick to drink, obviously being that small. What I do is I've been putting hot or warm milk in it because, you're putting just between 1 and 3 ounces of coffee in a cup. You put too much, it's very easy to put too much milk in, and it cools everything down. So this morning I'm using my what is this called? This has a name. Oh, I think it's called Walkies. It's made by Ulster Weavers, and I got it from the Bee's Knees, which is that British company in Massachusetts, bone china. And what's so nice about this mug, no, I'm not trying to sell them, and I don't get any benefits from this. I'm just trying to put you onto a good thing. See this handle? Look at that. 3 full fingers fit in, and I have big hands, and a pinky and a thumb. And it makes it just, really nice and easy to hold. By the way, for all you Midsummer Murder fans, here's my Rainbird Funeral Services shirt. Try our satin service, very upmarket. If you watch Midsummer Murders, if you just watch the very first episode of it, you'll get it. Anyway, and you'll laugh. Okay, sort of a little bit of, dark humor. Anyway, so now I'm back from walking the dog. How far did we walk this morning? Let's see. 0.8 miles. Okay, that was good. And I think we're finally going to get some rain here in South Georgia. Oh, but let me make some coffee here while I'm talking, because I'm going to tell you what I was thinking about this morning. Oh, what should I make? I already have milk in here, and this is, maybe like a 10-ounce mug. It could be 12, but I don't want to, I'll move this down to leave room for the crema, right? It's not going to be that much crema. I'll move it up one. That'll be good. Okay, so I've got milk in there. Oh, okay. It's going to rain today. So how about some Stormio? Okay, we'll see what happens here. Okay, so this is what I was thinking about. I was thinking about relationships, and how one of the things that's so nice about things like Facebook and YouTube is that you can choose who you want to sort of let into your life. You can choose as far as obviously what you share, but more importantly, you can choose the sort of visitors you have in your life. What I mean is like this. I used to tell my kids that when we're watching TV, especially when they were really little, would you want to have people like on that TV show into your house to visit you in your house? If you wouldn't, then don't watch the show. Now, obviously, when they got older, there's different levels of perception and discernment and, all that kind of thing. But when they were real little, it kind of made it simpler. If you don't want to have those bad guys in your house, don't even turn it on the TV. Well, it's kind of like that with Facebook and YouTube and stuff. If you don't want to have the the worrisome, frightening, concerning, negative stuff in your life. Oh, gee. Oh, my gosh. Oh, dear. Okay, so I miscalculated on that one. All right. Anyway, I could have shut it off, but there's a little delay when you shut it off, and it doesn't stop immediately. So, it would have kept going a little bit, so this worked just as well, right? Okay, so if you don't want certain, let's call them influences in your life, then you don't have to look at that page or go to that YouTube channel or, be reading what that person posts. Stuff like that, right? And if you want to have, certain people in your life, you can choose them. And that's so awesome, especially in our society that, when I was growing up, most people lived right near their relatives. But then, as I got to around, I'd say while I was in college? Yeah, probably like in the late 1960s, early 1970s. It started to become a much more mobile society. And, this is very good, by the way. And, people no longer lived really close to one another. It used to be when I was a little kid, if, of course, we were in New York City, so everybody lived in apartment houses, and if you wanted to call your kid, you'd lean your head out the window and holler for them because probably they were playing right on the block, fairly nearby. And every once in a while, somebody's mother might stick their head out the window and say, Bobby, I'm going to tell your mother if you don't stop acting that way. They reprimand somebody else's kid and tell them they're going to tell their mother, if they don't behave right. And there was a lot more interaction because you knew who lived around you. You lived near relatives, in your apartment building, there were people who knew your grandmother that lived a few blocks away, or even who maybe lived a mile away, but they knew each other and, you better watch out. Anyway, so just a little anecdote there for you. But the point is that it was part of the fabric of life to form relationships much more easily than it is today. But it can be easy to form certain kinds of relationships these days, can't it? You can do it virtually. The thing is, you can form a relationship with someone who is not presenting their true personality online. That can be kind of concerning and scary even. But what I wanted to say is talking about sort of filtering things, who do you allow into your life? Online, it's easy enough. It's like, I don't want this person in my feed anymore because they're always complaining or negative or, stuff like that. Or, yeah, I want this person in because they make me feel good and all this. But what about in your real life with real people? Has this hindered your ability to conduct your face-to-face relationships? Like if there's a negative relationship in your life, maybe you have a friend, not virtual, but real, face-to-face, you can touch them kind of thing. Are you able to cut out the negative relationships? That's important to do. We all crave and enjoy and seek out positive relationships, but sometimes we stick with negative ones because we kind of either don't know how to get out of it, or we're just sort of accustomed to it. I mean, it's awkward. You know how it is, like when Facebook, for example, was newer, people, I remember even hearing comedy routines about it. Oh, I don't know, if I unfriend this person, will they know? Oh my gosh. People would get concerned over things like that. Yet really, that's not a concern. And by the way, they won't know. But in real life, sometimes it's difficult to unfriend someone, to know how to do it. And sometimes it doesn't turn out well. But you know what? You've got to keep yourself healthy. Sort of emotionally healthy, for your own sake, for the sake of your friends and family, for your loved ones, for your work, So, maybe it's something to think about. How do I handle my online relationships? That's a whole area. But how do I handle my real life relationships? Because it doesn't work the same way as it does online. It can be a little more complicated, right? Well, anyway, I'm going to drink my yummy coffee before it gets cold. And, by the way, Grayson had his 1-year checkup yesterday. I mean, his annual checkup. And the doctor has an idea about maybe what might be causing his problems. He's been having some medical problems, and they've been looking and testing. And anyway, so we're trying what we're trying is some medication that is safe. It won't have side effects, except possibly the side effect of making him better. And it's one of those things where if it helps, then we know that it was from, the cause that the medication cures. So anyway, but this is not a dog page. This is my personal page. And this morning it's been about coffee and about relationships. And hey, I hope you have a good day. Cheers.